Good morning and welcome to the ADS Securities Markets Update. We'll start our video today with a look at the Federal Reserve decision which was released yesterday. The Federal Reserve decided to taper the QE by another $10 billion, which makes the stimulus package at $15 billion on a monthly basis. The Fed mentioned also that the QE will end in October as far as the outlook holds. The Fed also cuts the growth forecast again, citing a significant amount of slack in the labor market. The Federal Reserve also kept the well-known sentence, which is to keep the interest rate lower for a considerable time in its statement. At the beginning of the decision, the Fed language seemed dovish. However, the Fed noted that they seized the average Fed fund rate at 1.375% by the end of 2015, which pushed the US dollar higher across the board. The US dollar index added more than 0.35%, reaching as high as 84.76, which is the highest level since July of last year. The euro tumbled below 1.29, reaching as low as 28.60s, and the dollar yen breaks above 108, reaching as high as 108.70s so far. The Aussie and the Kiwi were hit the hardest as they fell to 0.8950s and 0.8080 respectively, while gold prices tumbled below 1220. As for the Asian session today, there were two economic figures from New Zealand and Japan. Beginning with New Zealand, the GDP came in much better than expected. The economy grew by 0.7% in the second quarter of this year, comparing to a growth rate of 1% in the first quarter, while the estimates were to grow by 0.6%. However, these figures also failed to support the Kiwi during the session. In Japan, the trade balance deficit narrowed more than expected to minus 0.92 trillion yen in August, comparing to a deficit of 1.02 trillion in July, while it had been anticipated also to decline to 0.99 trillion yen only, and this is the lowest deficit in 3 months. Going forward to the European session today, there are a collection of economic releases and events which are likely to have a notable impact on the markets today. Beginning with Switzerland, the Swiss National Bank is expected or likely to keep the LIBOR rate on hold. In the UK, the retail sales may rise by 0.4% in August, comparing to a rise of 0.1% in July, which would be the highest monthly increase in 4 months or since May. The most important events for today are the targeted LTRO or the announcement of the targeted LTRO from the ECB, which will be released around 9:15 GMT time, and most importantly, the Scottish referendum will be held across the day, while the results will be released at the early morning hours tomorrow. Therefore, the markets are likely to remain within a high volatility across the day. During the US session today, there are three economic figures will be released. The US building permits may decline back to 1.04 million in August, down from 1.06 in July. The weekly jobless claims may decline slightly to 312 last week, comparing to 315,000 the week before. The housing starts also may decline slightly to 1.04 million in August, down from 1.09 in July. And finally, the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index is likely to decline back to 22.8 in September, down from 28 in August. This is it for today. Stay tuned, as we will publish our special report later today on the Scottish referendum, discussing the expected scenarios and how it will impact the markets, especially the British pound, oil, gold, and the FTSE 100. This is it for today. You can follow us on our social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to get the latest economic releases, reports, and analysis. Thank you for watching.